What's going on? What's happening? Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. As you can see, Mike's sipping a coffee. I'm sipping an energy drink. It's much needed for a day like this. It's, I woke up and I just totally forgot it was a holiday. And the dollar had no volume, so kind of set the mood for the day.
Yeah, it kind of did, didn't it?
Yeah, because you always follow that dollar trade, and well, if there's no really dollar volume today, what the hell are you supposed to follow? I mean, so
Well, look, the bond market's closed, which plays an important part in this, right? And, everybody's talking about, well, there's the TLT, there's this and that. Yeah, but what you're missing is the institutional trade flow. So, typically what happens is you just get these wild swings that you just don't know what plays with what. But what I find interesting today is how Cathie Wood is pretty much she's gotten so pissed off that she's demanded to speak to the manager of the market.
yeah,
Did you see that? She put out an open letter to the Fed. So that's like a irritated customer going, I want to speak to the manager, please. I want to speak to Mr. Powell. Kind of tells you how well her fund's doing.
as if the Fed gives a shit about Cathie. Oh God.
Yeah, look, none of this is a surprise, right? Where we are, not a surprise. JB Diamond just came out, because they're going to be reporting earnings. He says, caution, caution, caution. The economy could be heading into a recession in 6 to 9 months, which means the SPY can go down another 20%. Well, where have you been, Jamie?
I was gonna say I'd like to say I said that a while ago. So.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Look, and we talked about it. Now, and you guys do realize that I just kind of cranked up the Vant algo. Okay, so we got a little pop in the market because I went out and before I popped on the show, I had to crank out that Vant algo. But look, we had AMD. AMD was the stock to me to tell what was going on, right? AMD came out, warned on Friday, and it's a shit show. Semiconductors, I don't see them getting any better anytime soon. Okay, because what nobody talks about is the Biden administration is on full-on attack with everybody. Okay, not just Russia, not just Ukraine, not the situation. No, they want to go after Taiwan. The Chinese, and part of that is they got their own little trade wars. Who says we need Trump, right? Because we all complained about the trade wars that Trump started with China, with the tariffs and stuff like that. Well, Biden's saying I can go one up you, and basically coming out almost weekly with new guidelines. That's just harming the semiconductor industry badly in a time when you don't need the semiconductor industry to be harmed, right? So they can't sell these nano chips. They can't sell these fast chips to Chinese firms or anyone linked to a Chinese firm, or expect serious sanctions. So I would not be placing my bet on the semiconductor industry anytime soon.
Yeah, you definitely going to need to see a change in fundamentals and sentiment in order to enter on that. You still have a lot of downside, in my opinion, to that. So, obviously, they're good companies, most. And I know.
Yeah, look, I can't wait to buy AMD.
Yeah.
AMD's in my crosshairs from a fund perspective. But I think I said $35 is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, right around that area is a good area.
I'm looking at $35 is my target. Yeah, $35, $30, $32. That's what I'm looking at AMD. I'm looking to buy an NVIDIA all that stuff. But, I ain't buying it now.
Yeah. And you know what? It probably will take, look at the monthly chart, a couple months to get there. So at that point, it gives you time for the...
I have my orders lined up next week. I mean, at the rate this market's going, it's crazy. But, I mean, look, again, the market's not that hard to figure out. And, we've been talking about it all last week. We said, look, coming out of the last Fed meeting, we said, both of us, labor is the most important thing to look at this coming up. Okay, CPI be damned. Okay, labor was important. We popped up on a better than expected JOLTS report, and then we had non-farm payrolls come out, which, beat expectations, which basically means that the labor market is still, tight, which enables the Fed to keep on plowing forward with their misguided, policies here. So, and if you looked through that labor report, because, we're off on Fridays, one thing that kind of stood out to me, other than the unemployment report, the unemployment rate dropping, you had the participation rate drop 0.1%, which tells me that the consumer, is they're not very desperate right now. Okay, and the participation rate dropped. You got still the survey report and the establishment report divergent for 7 straight months. They're getting a little bit more in line, but not much. And you have GDP now that, nobody even reported this, has been revised to 2.9%. So the only benefit you have, the only hope you have as a bull, the only bullish narrative that makes any sense in these markets is that the Fed's going to pivot, and those are not numbers that says the Fed's going to pivot.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. That's the only thing they've been looking at is the unemployment.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Fed's not pivoting when employment's tight and GDP now is, revising up, and, I mean, every pop gets sold, and it seems like every rally we get are nothing more than bear stops.
Yeah. And you know what? If you want to call the top on the dollar when the Fed finally pivots, you have my blessing and we could talk about it. But, I don't know why people keep calling tops when the Fed's not even close to pivoting with their policies. So,
oh, it's a blow-off top, Tyler. It's a blow-off top. That's all I heard. Blow-off top.
I know.
Shut the F up.
And you know what? There's absolutely zero volume in the dollar today, and we're heading right back up to the highs.
Well, I mean, the Bank of England came out and said, look, they're still basically doing their thing, right? I mean, they're still going to raise rates. Their temporary intervention, I believe, ends Friday, and the 30-year gilt yields are up like 90 basis points.
Yeah.
They're almost back up where they were before when they had to come in and intervene. But we all know what that's about, right, Ty? I mean,
right.
They came in to intervene so they can get a temporary reduction in prices. So hopefully all of the pension funds that needed to maneuver and get out got out. But it's not working, right?
Yeah, we talked about it. Like, what happens when it stops? It goes right back up to where it was. And, I mean, it's just exactly what you said. It was just a temporary maneuver to fix some situations, and it's right back up to where it was. So, it's not, it's like a Band-Aid over it. So, it's...
And here's the thing. I'm going to give you guys a secret indicator, okay? I'm giving you a secret indicator. We've been pretty spot on through all this, right? And our traders have done really well. Especially on Friday. We had a fucking record day. Okay? I'm giving you all a secret indicator that is 100% guaranteed to work. Okay? You know what it is? It's when Mark comes on, our fledgling bull, and finally throws in the towel and says Meta hasn't bottomed, okay, and has basically given up on this market, then... it's time to buy. Because, and I'm secretly joking, but I mean, look, that's true, right? It's when the bulls finally capitulate. We still, and that's not just Mark. We got traders on our desk, friends, stuff like that, that are constantly trying to buy the dip. And it's, you're not going to get the end until all those bulls, everybody that's a bull still, capitulates. And damn, we can't get Mark to capitulate at all, can we?
No. Doesn't seem like it. I mean, you're fine.
Just like we couldn't get Mal to capitulate. We could not get Mal to capitulate at all during the bull run of 2020, 2021. I mean, we're trading. When's the top in? And Mal said, you all suck. The market's going down. It's going to implode. Values are crazy. Remember that, Ty?
Oh, yeah.
We're at the exact opposite now. Now, Mal's our friend and Mark's on the outside, right? But back in 2021, Mark, Mark wasn't listening to the show, but, Mark was our friend back then. He didn't realize it, but we were buying the shit out of Meta. We were buying the crap out of everything. And Mal was like Mal, I think, took screenshots of our face and was throwing darts at it every day. I don't know if you guys remember. Every day we would get in a fight with Mal.
Oh, yeah. And look, Mal, it's the same thing. You were right. Just took a few months longer. I mean,
2,000 S&P points later, but
after you call it every day long enough, you'll eventually be right? I mean,
so Mark, I wanted to tell you, I'm telling you right now, this is pretty fun actually. Okay, Mal called the top 1,000 times in the S&P when we were all trading it up, right? And yes, he was ultimately right. So Mark, you were calling the bottom every freaking day.
Mark will be right
and
eventually.
About 3-4 months from now, you will be right. So, but anyhow, look, we're having a lot of fun joking, but it's really a microcosm of exactly what goes on in the markets, right? It's not until the final bull capitulates that you're gonna and throws in that towel that you're gonna get it. I mean, and it's just where we're at. And personally, I don't think we're nowhere close. Porn alarm came out.
That's a good equation.
Yeah, see, Mal started watching us. We were his therapy, right? We were like, he was taking us like a pill, so he would stop getting burnt from shorting of endless bull run. But anyhow, Porn alarm says Mal plus Mark divided by 2 equals a bottom. So
sounds about right to me.
Exactly. But anyhow. You get the point, and the point is, I hate to say it, but I don't think we're anywhere near, if you're looking, you got to have a reason to go up, and look, who knows? Cathie is asked to speak to the manager, okay, of the market, so she put that open letter out there. I thought that was a great line, and we'll see what happens. So maybe she'll get
look
some
at the
results.
VIX. I mean, once pull up the markets. I mean, and shit, because you're right. And there's nowhere close if the VIX isn't even freaking close to what
Yeah, well, don't put too much stock in the rates today. I mean, you got the bond markets closed, and even though the rates are doing pretty much what you would probably expect to see if the bond market was open, but let's look here. First off, Ty, this is the monthly chart. What do you notice with my 3 arrows here?
Oh God, that is beautiful.
That's from my mentorship meeting this weekend, right? So you got these wicks that on the upper time frame just screams 180.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got the same price action, a retest, no bottom wick close, another retest. No bottom wick close.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing, and I know we said we're doing charts, but now Mo's now chiming in. Mo, I'm going to tell you what, man. I want you to go look at gas prices. Okay, gas prices have risen 9 out of the last 20 days. 19. Sorry, I said 9 and effed up. 19 out of the last 20 days, gas prices have risen. So in the last few CPI reports that have not been good, The reason that they haven't like been extremely high is because gasoline has fallen dramatically, right? The price of gas has fallen. So I think you're not going to get any help in gas in September in this print that's coming up Thursday. But I could tell you almost without a shadow of a doubt, October CPI print, oh my God, candy bar at the doors. I mean, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. So I just, you know, you know, something's going to happen. I mean, obviously, we're going to start slowing down. You know, we're done with the unemployment numbers. We got that out of the way. So now Thursday morning, CPI. We also have Wednesday, by the way. We have Fed minutes, FOMC minutes, and of course, we're going to want to take a look at that to give us another piece of information. Well, Ty, let's look at the weekly chart here on SPY. And look at that, man. We used to call this the tractor pattern.
Dude.
Two tractor wheels and a nice little pole.
I got exactly what I wanted. I mean, it's just like textbook pattern here. You have the break of the trend line. You have a nice, beautiful retest and a fat-ass rejection. And now we're just seeing a break the low of last week, and we're heading straight down. So, I mean, this is just, it's just dying for a short.
Yeah, it is dying for a short. Only thing the bulls can cling to is maybe the 200, which, like I showed you back in 2018, wound up being support on a weekly chart, but I wouldn't count on it. If you look here, SPY on the daily chart, just utter ugly. We had a nice, and the thing that I want to kind of harp on here is look at the rejection at the 21, okay, which is, you know, just like we use as an active sequence, you know, it's an active sequence to the downside. Got rejected at the 21, got rejected at this trend line beautifully. So just nice short play off that. But as we look at the 4 hour, as you can see, I'm kind of coming in at oversold level 1. What are you looking at here, Ty?
Yeah. So you had really what you were looking at, the trend line, the retest of this rejection here, and now we're back down to lows. So what I was looking at here is you have this previous low back here, you know, in this area as well that you were that you have this red line that you've drawn. One thing I was looking at this morning was that we came back up, retested, and we had a really fat 4 hour bearish rejection here. And so this price shows a lot of bearish volatility and momentum heading to the downside here, and hanging out at lows. It feels like, you know, once we can crack this area, then it's, you know, goodbye, see you later, you know. So
sayonara.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you. Definitely something to look at. And if you look at the 15-minute, kind of talked about it, kind of fell out of this pattern here. So what we have now is a island sitting up here, and that's where we had a gap up to form the island. Now we have a gap down. We're leaving it behind us. We had 5 closes all in the same area right here. I mentioned that this would be a area of resistance. What did we get? Nice area of resistance, and now we're heading lower, looking to break this lower band down here. So classic textbook, everything pointing down, and you can kind of see where you know what we're looking at here. And by the way, you can see us cracking the weekly 200 moving average. Nice dip buy opportunity. By the way, there's been some great trading opportunities, and hopefully you guys from the trading community got this. I mean, look, I highlighted this. This was yesterday's low in here. You know, nice dip buy off that low into this VWAP. Nice rejection. Then it became resistance, and then nice dip buy out of the break of the weekly 200, and now we're running into resistance here at last week's low. So nice classic action to kind of trade against. If you look at the Qs, Tyler, Tech has broken the yearly lows. So Tech leading us to the downside.
There we
go. Not good.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, the rate, I mean, look at the rates and look at the bond market. I mean, yeah, so Tech's going to be the first one to go down here.
Yeah, obviously, and that's what you would expect. If you look here at IWM, still being a laggard, still holding up better than expected, but I expect this to continue. And again, really, if you look in here, small caps, really their 52-week low is the June low. Like, we have yet to pierce through that. It's the only indice that really has not pierced through that. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can. We haven't even pierced through the lows of back in September. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
It's interesting to me because, as we were talking about IWM being the leading indicator to the upside, it almost seems like it's the lagging indicator to the downside, and the Qs are now the leading indicator. So it's going to be interesting to see how we move here, because you're seeing indices like the Qs lead the way to the downside, the SPYs following suit, the Dow obviously, and then the IWM's lagging. So it's going to be interesting to see, if this kind of reverses here or what happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, if you're a bull, this is what you're clinging to.
Right.
That maybe this is some kind of outlier divergence that, hey, we're not really getting, we haven't even touched these June lows. So this is definitely, if you're bullish, you're clinging to this chart rating here. But Mo doesn't listen to me, Ty.
No. No, Mo, you didn't cancel it. No.
Mo doesn't listen to me because he said, "What do you think, guys? What do you guys think of CPI?" Well, I told Mo what he thinks of CPI. So, Mark, everybody else tell Mo what they think of CPI. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna come in hot.
Yeah. Hot.
Yeah, probably a good call on canceling that house, Mo. Not a great time right now.
Well, we were right on that as far as the house. As far as buying a house, we were right in not buying a house.
Yeah,
we were looking at.
He was looking to put a bid on a new construction, I believe, but I think he's canceling it now. It looks like good call.
Good call on that. Yeah, if you look at the ES guys, you can kind of see nice action with the levels that we talked about. This was our line in the sand this morning. Look, we got a nice little bounce off here for a trade, and then we finally broke through, rejected. Broke through, and then you can kind of see here once we kind of broke this trend line, we had a nice little pump down to 3,600, but nice bounce off the 3,600 level.
Yeah.
So for me, on the bullish side, if you're looking for anything to cling that maybe we're going to get a bounce out of here, right? Because it's a holiday, and we always say don't short all markets. Well, this is the one day that is the exception to that rule. I need us to get above back this 36.30. The bulls need to reclaim this. Then we need to reclaim the June lows of 36.39. If we can reclaim both of them, and obviously in the process reclaim VWAP, then I'll believe in maybe a rally into the close, and might be something that you can buy.
Yep.
So that's my levels on the ES. Yeah, Tyler, you mentioned the VIX. I kind of had this nice little triangle drawn. I'm going to have to increase the days in here, but we did pierce into it a little bit. We did pierce up, and this has been an area where we have gotten rallies out of. So if you look here, last time we kind of pierced in here, what happened? We kind of fell off, rallied. Other couple times we pierced up into this area. We had a nice little rally. This was the June area. So this has been an area that the market, at least in this reiteration, has kind of rallied out of. So I would kind of look at this chart to kind of maybe give me a clue that maybe we're going to get a rally at some point this week, Bob.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, good point. Because I don't think it breaks it until something more significant happens. And so, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, if you can see here, I kind of, maybe we get a nice, if you look here, we kind of just pierced it and fell back down in the range, right? And then we kind of opened up, in a gap down that reversed, obviously. So maybe we get the same type of action here tomorrow morning, and then we get that nice rally. So we'll have to see what the market gods want to give us. TLT, obviously the bond market's closed. So TLT is what we're, the only thing we got left to really utilize ourselves to see what's going on. We broke this 100 level. Mal kind of pointed out that it's been a long time since we've broken that $100 level, and it's true. I mean, if you go back, let's look at the chart and see the last time, I believe it was 2011, that we were down below 100. And if you look here, 2011 was the last time we were below 100 on the TLT. So, and if you look down here back in the early 2000s, I mean, we're down in the 80s. So we do have some more room to go. But look at this major breakdown in bonds. I mean, massive. We've basically gone from 180 to almost 90. We basically just slashed ourselves in half from where we were with the TLT. So definitely something to take into consideration. But that's it from my side, Ty. I'm curious, it's interesting because, again, supposedly the 30-year gilt is rates are running. You got the dollar back up to 113 level. I'm curious where you see all of this going. And I'm also curious about oil because I still think oil's a buy. I still think oil's going up, which sounds weird in a recession, right? If we're going to be hitting recession, oil should be tanking. So
yeah. Right.
It's a lot of cross currents going through that.
There's a lot of weird stuff, a lot of moving parts to think about when you're trading these markets. I mean, so looking at the dollar, nice movement today. So if you remember this kind of what caused really the this initial kind of hesitation here was obviously the yen intervention. So looking at UJ here, USD/JPY. This is the day that they, intervened. Obviously, we talked about it wasn't going to be much of a concerning factor as far as what's going to happen with the dollar because, it never works, right? So now we're pushing back up to highs of the day that they announced the intervention. Same price, 145.900. Now, doesn't look like it had much play into it. And so looking at the dollar now, dollar goes back into strength. You have the pounds a lot weaker with the way the gilt's reacting, and now you have the dollar pushing higher. And so looking at the higher time frames, monthly we gave us this lower wick, and we're now coming up to fill this monthly wick towards 115. Weekly gave us this nice retest rejection wick of 110, closed bullish, and now we're heading back up towards 115. And so, I mean, technically, you couldn't ask for a cleaner setup than what we're getting here. And so there's no reason to call a blow-off top or anything until you actually see a blow-off top. Nothing of this that we're looking at is a blow-off top here. So it's just easy, clean, just stair-step market price action here. And so now we're heading back up towards highs. And obviously with everything going on right now as far as the euro, they tried somewhat pivoting, intervening, and now it's slapping it back in the face. You had the pound trying to do some intervention somewhat, and now it's slapping them back in the face. You had the yen trying to do so. So we're all trying to do it in separate pieces and not all as one united central bank. So it's not going to work that way as we talked about, and so it's just making them look like they're retarded. And so now you have the Fed who is just on the accelerator doing nonstop rate hikes at 75 basis points. So there's nothing in that what I just said that's going to cause you to think that there's a top here in the dollar. And so once you start seeing the Fed pivot or the Fed slow down or something change, then again you're not going to see a slowdown in the dollar's ascension here. So but overall, we broke out of this decent pullback here, and September 22nd is when the yen intervened, and the dollar is now well above yen intervention here, and so we're going right back up to these highs here. So shows you that none of that really plays any much factor right now into what's happening with the dollar. So all eyes on the Fed on this one. Looking at oil with that, so it's interesting because you're seeing the dollar get back to highs, but you're seeing oil get back to highs. Typically you don't see that, but looking at price action here, we had a massive bullish candle on the weekly last week, with OPEC, with the OPEC decision, and so that's causing a temporary supply issues moving forward, trying to combat the demand issues. And so now what we're seeing here is you're seeing this nice retest of 76 hold, and we're now pushing back up towards 95. 95 is that main area that I was talking about as far as where we really need a break if we get any momentum in this movement here. Otherwise, we consolidate and chop around. And so looking at this overall move on the daily, we broke through structure. We broke through this trend line here that I talked about, and we're confirmed. And so now what I'd like to see is a retest and a continuation up. And so it looks like this previous move here, pushing back down to 76, although OPEC's been talking about the dislocation, that it doesn't make any sense as far as fundamentals go. I had agreed with that. They're just pricing something else in, pricing a recession, pricing whatever they wanted to price in at that point. Now we're pushing back up, and technicals come into play. OPEC's intervention in the market will work, and now I'm looking for any buys on the dips for a run towards 100, 115. And so I do think we get a nice extended rally here in the energy market again, and so that's something I'd be keeping an eye on. And if we can get a retest around 86, 87, I'd be considering a buying position in that area there. 86 to 84, somewhere in this zone right in here is an area that I'm going to be looking for dip buys to hold up. And we had a nice break of structure here with oil, and so looking for a higher low to form, and that'll give us that 38.2% retracement. So oil, energy plays could be in play soon, but I feel like it might be more of a grind up if we have a continued strength in the dollar. We'll see.
Gotcha.
Looking at gold
in those hills.
All you got to do if you're trying to make money is short gold.
Really?
If you guys really want to know how to make money in this market right now, while Bordelon tries to buy gold, I will be selling gold, and I will be making money every day. Yeah, it's I mean, this monthly chart, dude, it came up, retested monthly resistance, retested this breakdown in here, and now we're closing with a very massive rejection, same as the weekly. Weekly came up, retested the backside of this trend line. I talked about this trend line back from 2015. This is trend line right here that we now came up and retested the backside of it, and we rejected it. I talked about it, whether we close above it or not, that's going to be key to where we see gold moving forward. Gold rejected it, pretty big rejection here, and now we're heading lower. So expect some further weakness in gold moving forward, and especially if you get that continuation up in the dollar. 1630 in sights for gold, and then I'm going to be looking for a break of 1600 towards 1580 area. So looking for continued sells in gold, looking at the dollar again, not the dollar, the daily, looking at the daily, we have a lot of room to go still as far as being oversold. So once we can break the 1660, then it should be clean move down to 1620, then a clean move down to 1580. So just looking for shorts all the way every day with gold here. And yeah, that's that. Looking at Bitcoin, look, I've talked about this 20,500 level as far as it needs to break this in order to get going anywhere. It didn't break it. Now we're heading back down towards 19,000. As far as the way I look at Bitcoin, when we're below 19,600, which we're well below it now, there's more bearish momentum in it to come, and so I think we get a nice push and continuation down towards at least 18,000 area. We're now back at this low here, where we've had a lot of dip buying, a lot of rejection, a lot of just big area of contention in here. So obviously it's going to put up a fight here. Once it breaks, it's gone, but it seems like we're potentially now coming into an area where we're going to break this temporary structure as far as support, and we start pushing back down towards 18,004. And so we'll see if it continues to break down here. But either way, stuck in a consolidation here, not looking good for any potential breakout. Yeah, that's it for me. Give it back to you, Mike.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, while you were talking, the market loved what you were saying, Ty.
Did it?
So
Ooh.
yeah, it's market loved
Ooh.
what you're.
I'm so glad to hear that because I'm long pound yen and I'm
Yes.
making some fucking dough.
So getting nice little rally as we speak. Break it over
Look at that.
VWAP.
Mark was
So
getting excited.
yeah, market is excited, Ty. So
Let's
let me
go, Brainerd.
pull up the ES. We're getting kind of to that level that I've talked about. So we pretty much climbed through two of them. We got one more, and I'll tell you what, this is pretty strong here. Just hop in. Oh, sorry. There we go. Anyhow, what are you thinking, Ty?
I'm thinking we get a continuation long here, honestly. We're bouncing
Yeah.
off this important low of 3,600.
Damn.
So this is.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure here. Wow.
I
That's
think,
nice. Look at that. Rocking and rolling.
oh, dude.
Nice.
Oh, this hourly. Oh, gosh, shit, dude. This thing's gonna have a nice run, I think.
It's looking so. Yeah, hourly's looking pretty good. Oh, that's not looking good. But hold on. Let me kind of zoom in here and tell me what you're focused in on that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Yeah. That's
Nice bullish engulfing
beautiful.
candle here.
Hourly's closing, and this is more or less same thing. But as far as looking, yeah. So we had a nice close below this area here, pumping right back above. Hourly closes in 10 minutes, and so if we get a nice bullish close through this zone here, I'd expect a little wick retest and a push back towards highs of the day. And probably a continuation. So could get a little bit of a squeeze, at least towards 37.34 here, as we retest this temporary resistance we had, or support we had as that neckline. So I think we can get a little squeeze out of here.
Mark. And Mark says the 10-year was leading. Well, first off, 10 years not trading today. And the 10 TLT still below 100. So,
Bornlom, excuse me, brother. I said shorts on the daily. I'm a day trader, sir, so I will take advantage of any intraday opportunities that present itself.
Awesome. All right. Well, good stuff. We'll see if this. I'm sure some stops are going off here as you're getting some traders that are kind of basically covering their profitable short positions. Couple really good shorts today that we need to talk about. So Rivian was a pretty decent short today. Rivian had, they're basically recalling half their cars. I mean, so you had a nice rejection off of the opening print that we were kind of looking at as they got the drive, and then you had nice little rejection down. And PayPal, how about the PayPal news, Ty?
Oh, I saw that.
This company's F. I'm sorry, but this is I first off made $2 short in PayPal today. But this is a company that is now going to be shorted into oblivion, just like Affirm was. Yeah, PayPal, you don't make just indiscriminate. I'm sorry, but you don't just give the news, because it's kind of hard to sit there and say that you basically have leaked documents that, well, we weren't going to include in our user agreement, that you're going to be fined $2,500 for saying shit that they think is not materially true. I mean, that's, so you're getting lumped into the Affirm. We shorted Affirm back in November. That's when we called the Affirm short out. It was sitting around 140. It's now at 18. So we now are going into a long-term short in PayPal, because even if you say it's not true, who the hell's going to believe you? Serious. So screw PayPal. Not good. Not liking that. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's just long-term issues there, if you ask me, as far as what's going to be happening there. So Also, still shorted. We bought some puts in for solar. Bought some puts Friday, bought some puts today. So we'll see. Today's puts aren't printing. They were printing. But we are shorting the solar industry. So we'll see if, where that takes us. And to me, the easiest short of all short, I tell you what, the taking candy from a baby, Tyler, was shorting the freaking cannabis sector into the news that Biden was pardoning some people that had major
that's right.
Or not major, that had basically minor issues with
marijuana,
drug offenses. Yeah, marijuana offenses. So I mean, if that isn't the easiest short, taking candy from a baby segment, then I don't know what is. Of course, we didn't short the best one. The best ones for the short were Tilray. I mean, look at Tilray. I just want to show you Tilray in the pre-market on Friday. Let me expand out this chart. I mean, you got to realize when there's bullshit events, news events, Tilray popped up to $4.50, and this sucker all the way down to $3. I mean, just easy short. If you look at CGC, would have been an easy short for you as well. This thing went up to $4, down to $2.40, Tyler. It's now lower than it was prior to. If this wasn't a reason, I mean, you guys got to take the easy trades, okay? You got to take the easy trades, and this was probably the easiest trade of stealing money that you could have possibly had. So, nice job on Friday, guys, as we had a lot of traders shorting these things into the oblivion, and it's basically no downside risk to those trades at all. Still sitting with a MOS, it's the cannabis ETF. Still sitting here short, so continue to print off. This thing's got about another $3 to go down, $2 to go down. So we'll wait till it gets down there to enjoy ourselves. Microsoft, Microsoft was leading tech down, was pretty weak earlier this morning. Interesting little reversal candle, though, forming in on Microsoft. So I guess we'll have to see if anything comes of that as we're kind of watching. Also, this Denbury, ExxonMobil news hit the tape that ExxonMobil is inquiring about purchasing Denbury here. So they got a nice little pop up in here, and it looks like that news is of importance. And I saw some people put some collars on and stuff like that. Also, wheat. Tyler, I can't believe you didn't go over wheat today.
I got to get more versed in the other commodities because some of them move really well.
Yeah, look at wheat. With I love, one of my favorite trades is a gap above a major moving average and then go. So wheat, nice gap above the 200 and the 100 and starting to get rolling. I'm sure it has something to do with the everything that's going on over in Europe. But wheat, nice looking trade today. CF, it's our CF Industries. This is what we trade, our commodity stock that we kind of trade. Interesting looking chart. Got a little bit of a run in here somewhere, but just interesting, kind of interesting level to me as CF kind of doing its running too. I'm really upset though, man. My nat gas trade's now in the red after being up pretty good. Nat gas, what do we do with nat gas here, Ty?
Dude, you know what? The chart's telling me that it looks like it wants to go down, but I feel like, will it really go down with the oil fundamentals here? But looking at it, we're kind of coming up into this area here that we talked about as far as this previous area of support. And so I'd expect it to hold support here. If it breaks, then shit. I mean, look, we're probably heading down to like 5 or 4 or something, but I expect it fundamentally to hold. And so this could be a buying opportunity for nat gas.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So I'm in Boyle, and I took some off at 55 a couple times. So I've been in and out of this one, still holding the main position, but in at 51 is the average price that we've been in. as far as this trade's been. But, you know, it was up to 55 and here it was up. Actually, I think it was 58 earlier last week in the pre-market. So still holding. We'll see. Nice little drop off in here. But, yeah, I need to hold that trend line. But, you know, I'm still sitting positive, even though I'm in at 51 because we did take some off at 55 and keep on reloading at 51. But now we kind of broke that 51 level, and we'll have to see what that means in here. So I agree. I like that trend line. So we'll see where that takes us in that stock. So still holding. Netflix continues just to be a beast. You know, Netflix, nice little run up, 7-pointer today, Ty. I mean, if you were able to get in this trade when we were talking about getting in it, I mean, you had a nice play with a nice little flag, nice little dip buy, nice little flag in the view up. You know, you got in 227, it went up to almost 234. Just really nice little trader in here, and it's riding into the afternoon. So, you know, if you're going to play some of these stocks, you know, I think Netflix is better than Meta, though Meta is green today, a little bit up 0.58%. Get a little bit dip buy off of the 132 level. But, you know, Meta, the problem with Meta is it keeps on making new lows. So we keep on making new lows. So next thing we know, it's going to be at my target price, which is like 75. So we'll see. But Netflix, I like Netflix, doing well. Twitter, nice little bounce in Twitter as well. Twitter back up over 50. Nice little bounce off this level here, 48. Gave you a nice little trade up into today. So would have loved to be in Twitter. That would have been a decent little trade. And you also had a couple other stocks moving. You had Merck and such like that. So Merck had some positive drug news, getting a little action. But, you know, right now we got earnings coming up this week. Thursday you got Pepsi. So watch Pepsi. Interesting level, isn't it, Ty?
Yeah.
With Pepsi kind of down there on that chart. You also have Citigroup. You know, at lows, you got Morgan Stanley on Friday with Citigroup. You got JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon already yapping his gums, but JP Morgan at 105 down at lows. So financials been beaten up. You got Delta Airlines on Thursday. You got Domino's Pizza coming out on Thursday as well. Kind of, you know, getting beaten down here on this chart. I mean, pizza always seems to do well. You know, it's kind of surprised. Yeah, kind of, you know, nice little head and shoulders pattern on the monthly though,
right.
Isn't it? Wow. I like that down to 250 here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never know what you're going to pull up when you pull up a chart because of earnings. Don't typically trade that one, but so you have those stocks to look at. Don't forget Thursday CPI, Wednesday FOMC minutes at 2:00. You also have Friday, which is retail sales. You have some sentiment coming out. So all that stuff's going to be important as well. But the big headliner is going to be Thursday going forward. Mo still looking at his Madison Square Garden. Nice little pop-up here in Madison Square Garden. What are you thinking about this one, Ty?
Yeah, that volume spike. Yeah, I think it's okay. You know, I mean, the higher time frames, like monthly and weekly, are intriguing. It was intriguing, you know, back down to, you know, the support we're holding. So,
yeah, you can definitely see it. Definitely holding some support. And like you said, getting a high volume bar out of there, not bad. MDT, I know that was a pretty depressed chart. Medical equipment maker. This one's tough, man. This one's tougher on me. If you look at the monthly chart, you kind of see trying to get some action. We just started this month, but
yeah, I think this one has more downside to it.
Yeah, I think so too. It just keeps on bear flagging it, and you know, you're in an active sequence to the downside now. So if you look here, you can see these bear flag breaks that keep on happening to MDT, and if you look here, you can see, you know, the 21 has been a nice little lid on this one in here, and the 50. So yeah. This, to me, your battleground in MDT was right here, and it lost. So you had the 50, you had a nice strong close into this trend line, and you were above the 50, and then you kept on wicking it back up, and now they rolled it off. And the fact that you couldn't hold this low in here or this area, and then you got rejected by the 21 tells me, yeah, definitely more downside action on that one there. AMD, you know, I look at AMD as just a broken stock, broken sector. I pretty much made my thoughts known on this one. SMH, look at this. Look at the semiconductor sector. I mean, just completely, completely falling off in here from a nice little peak. And there had been a lot of froth, and there's still some more froth that's got to come off in this one. AMD, what do you think of AMD, Ty? This is the monthly chart. Yeah. It didn't hold this support here at 72. That was the time to get out.
No, you're exactly right. We closed below this major support area, retested it on the monthly, now we're heading bearish. So, I mean, you're seeing temporary support because we're running into this previous trend line here. But overall, I don't think this trend line provides enough support for it in the market condition that we're in. So, I think ultimately look where some supply is, look at the market conditions. I'm kind of with Mike as round as I think you can see 40 at least back down to this area here. So I think there's definitely more downside for it.
Yeah. I think, I'll be loading up the truck myself. Look at the weekly, the weekly again, not holding this 200 at that same area that we lost. We said it last time, don't lose this area in here. So this is my next area. That's why I have that 35 is what I'm looking at. And you know what? I will be buying a lot of AMD for our investment accounts back then.
Honestly, Mo, if it hits 40, I would not hate you for taking an entry there, to be honest.
Yeah, I have no problem. Yeah, I have no problem starting at 40. But you know what? And Mo brings up he brought up a great point last time, and let me see if I can pull it up, is, if you're really interested in buying AMD around there, let's check and see. Hold on one sec. Let's pull up our handy bandy. Let's pull up AMD and look what the options are doing. If you look at the January options and you really love it, at 40, I mean, you could sell the 40 puts, which means if you're willing to buy AMD at 40, why not get paid $150? Get paid $150 to buy AMD down at 40. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. And, as it gets down, I mean, the worst case scenario, your cost basis is $38.50. That's your worst case scenario of you owning AMD. If you're willing to hold it long term, that's an incredible trade right there.
Yeah.
So if you're going to back up the truck, why not collect your at 150? And who knows if it pops back up from here? Guess what? You made $150 off that on 100 shares. If you're willing to buy 1,000 shares, you can collect 1,500. If you're willing to buy 1,000 shares of AMD at 40. Collect your $1,500 now. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I thank Mal for bringing that strategy up again to us on Thursday, because I think it's a good strategy to do in this type of market. So yeah. I mean, and if you need any help with that, Moses, let me know. I can show you how to structure those trades to be very profitable. Let's go back to the ES, Ty, and let's see. Let's see what's going on. Look at this, man. Nice little run up here. So this is an area of support, guys. This is Friday's lows. We need to see these lows hold.
I'm telling you, that hourly close was beautiful, and we're now retesting that area. I wanted to see us retest on the hourly for the lower wick. So where we're at now is where I'd want to see us hold, like Mike said.
Yeah, let's see us hold, man. I'd like to see us hold here. So now I'm so glad of that.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, you can kind of see. Look, we're at the top of the bearish bar that you were talking. Oh, sorry about that. There.
You're right here. This is where I want to see us hold. So
Awesome. I like that.
this whole area right in here.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Mal. I need, look up when AMD's earnings, and of course, it depends where the stock is at that point. But yeah, I mean, you definitely get more implied volatility, but you also get the more implied volatility too, in a nice little downturn. Like, I bet those options were over 2 earlier today. I bet. I wonder if I can pull up a. Let me see what we said. These options here. Let's see if we can pull up a quick chart on that. See a quick chart in here. And copy. Here we go. Quick chart. See where those options. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, look, they were sitting like 220 earlier today. So you can kind of see that on the quick chart. These were you could have got 220 on those options earlier today. Interesting. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see if the market can hold here. But nice to get a little bounce going into the close. Mo, is it true theory if rates go to 4%, then money moves out of stocks to bonds? We could get. Well, here's my problem with the bond market. In theory, I guess yes, you would see more money attracted to bonds. But here's the problem with the bond market, okay? And this is the problem. It has a structural problem. It kind of reminds me, Ty, of what's going on in oil, right? So, yeah, theoretically, oil should be, price of oil should be going down, right? But the problem, and the same thing in with treasuries. But the problem is the largest buyer of treasuries, Japanese pension funds, because of the intervention, they're selling treasuries. Life insurers selling treasuries. Foreign governments such as the Chinese, all the foreign governments in their defense of their own currencies are now in selling mode of treasuries. And the Fed, which under QE was buying treasuries, even though they're not selling them, they're not putting the buying pressure in there. So what you have is you really have the typical large purchasers that move the treasury market not purchasing. They're in selling mode and not purchase mode. And so liquidity is very thin. And yeah, you get bouts of buy, and yeah, maybe you get some pension funds want to lock in those rates and come in. But the problem is it's not happening, right? And then the other thing is all you people that, are used to hedge funds looking for maybe selling, for tax loss harvesting, trying to, offset gains and stuff. The problem with that is a lot of institutions don't have gains. They're not in the market now. There's no gains to worry about tax harvesting. So you're not getting that typical October pressure in the markets. So a lot of interesting dynamics going on from a structural standpoint and from a global standpoint. And so I think that's things that you got to look at in this market. But with that said, it looks like, let's look at the SPY for people who don't like to look at futures. Let's look at the SPY in here, Ty, and yeah, we're at
backside of VWAP.
Yeah, VWAP, and we'll see. Let's see if it can hold in here, man. I would be up for a nice little rally in here.
Say, where's JT? JT, goodbye. Bye.
JT looked like JT's been doing pretty good though. I think he's been trading pretty good, so we'll see. But who knows? But that's it, man. We're gonna get back to trading. I'm gonna see if this holds, and so I may just start throwing some more contracts in there, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it.
Stay safe out there, guys. Nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys. See you.